Charlie, and thank you so much for being here on my channel. This is my first new Pens Day video. I have been influenced because I really thought, okay, let's not grow the collection, just use what I have. But obviously I watch lots of videos and then you get shown lots of lovely pens, and at some point you bend. So I just received 4 new pens in the mail, and yeah, they're not expensive. I was just really curious. So the first set are Pilot Kakunos. Fun thing is, so when they spell it with the umlaut, it actually properly would not be pronounced Kakuno, but Kakuno. That's a German thing. I don't think that's meant to be a proper umlaut, so Kakuno it is. But I have been seeing the Madarumi series, the Drowsy series everywhere, and I really love the colors. And I was sort of putting it off, saying, no. And then I realized that actually were starting to become rarer, at least here in the UK. That might change. They might become available. And I started to experience a feeling that's probably very familiar to lots of us, sort of, oh no, if I don't get them now, there won't be any left because this is sort of a limited release. Obviously, there are lots of them around, but all the other Kakuno colors are not very, I don't really gravitate to them. So I thought, okay, need to do it now. And then I thought, okay, at least not get the same pen twice. So I basically got one in fine, one in medium. The fine one I already inked with the cartridge it came with. I'm going to take the ink out of the cartridge. I have like a little syringe that's really good for that. And then re-ink the cartridge because I failed to realize that these don't come with a converter, but the converter itself seems to be very like low capacity. So I think what I'm trying to do is just use the empty ink cartridges and refill them with inks that I like. At least then I will get like a decent fill on them. And at some point I might go and order a converter. But for now, I'm sort of trying to do it the other way around. This is fine. This is a medium, because usually a medium is my happy nib. But I could not help myself. I had to test this, and it's actually a really cool find. I'm really happy with this. I've heard so many times that these write better than more expensive pens, and or in many cases write better than more expensive pens with steel nibs at least. And so I thought, okay. So then I also saw them on offer, and I thought, yeah, let's do this now. So I'm going to, this is already inked. This one I'm just going to dip test with the Parker Blue Black Quink ink, just because this is, I think, one of the more, I don't actually have black ink like apart from the cartridge, so this is sort of the more neutral thing that I have. But yes, I wanted to use those for shimmers, for, yeah, just to carry them around with me. I mean, I've talked about that before, because I write mostly not at my desk, but on the go in coffee shops, and everywhere else, really. Whenever I grab a minute, I can't really have any pens that I can't take out of the house. So my caveat for getting fountain pens is they really need to be fantastic writers, comfortable writers, and if they break, I might be sad, but I shouldn't cry. So I've done a bit of writing with this one, and the only thing that I notice is that the grip section is actually quite slippy. So I found that I was sliding downwards. So let's see how that develops. So for now, so this is a pilot Kakuno. Did I do that little bits? No, I don't think so. And Romy brown. I also love that this is more for purple and a fine nib. And yes, the nib is amazing. It's not as fine as the nib on other pens that I have, but it's really smooth, really comfortable. So I'm already really happy with this one. And yeah, I mean, don't even know what kind of ink cartridges come with those. If it is a specific color, because if you, so always is like this little thing, but yeah, it doesn't say what, apart from, yeah, it's a black, but what kind of black, doesn't say. And yeah, they come in this little box. This is the blue one. I'm going to get rid of the sticker. And yeah, I just think the whole series looks great together, but I can't, even getting 2 of those is already not what I planned, so I can't get the whole series. So let's dip test this one. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to okay, interesting. It's not that, yes it is. With the first few letters, it didn't really feel that medium, but it definitely is. That's a lovely medium. No, that's amazing. Okay, no, I'm really happy with this. Just wipe this off. I need to clean it properly later. So yeah. My first pilots, and as I said, I've seen them featured everywhere, and I had the feeling I was missing out, so we needed to jump on these, and even if more become available, I think I'm glad I have these. One of them is probably always going to live in my sort of the bag that I'm carrying around, and I think I want to keep the blue one for my storm theme that I'm sort of having, planning for March. So yeah, but amazing. And then actually ordered them afterwards. I think because the prices go up and everyone's ordering or was ordering sailors now because of the tariffs and gold prices and everything. I saw sailors everywhere, but I knew that I couldn't buy them because they're so way out of my budget. I realized a gold nib is something else than a steel nib. Still can't. It's not in the cards for now. So I thought, hang on, why get severe pen envy. If I don't even know whether I like the model, how it feels in my hands, I have really big hands. And then I thought, okay, why not try the dupe first? Don't spend a lot of money. Just have a look whether the model actually would work for you. So this is the Jinhao 82 in the colorway Milk Tea, which is extremely pretty and goes really well with all the brownings. I am pleasantly surprised that this actually feels not too light. I mean, it's nice that these are light, but it's sort of, I like it when a pen has a bit more heft to it. And because this one, I wanted to try it straight away. And I inked it up with Urban Lidité because I thought the brown would match really well. It does. And you can see it actually is quite small in my hand. Let me just, I'm actually not on camera, yay. Okay, so it's quite small in my hand. I don't really like to post my pens. It's okay, but I prefer the weight of it unposted. So I'm not sure that I would be happy with the original Sailor anyway. As it is, I think this is fun, but for the amount I would pay for an original Sailor, I'm very happy for now, at least, that I went with the dupe. So this is the Jinhao 82 in Milk Tea, and that has a medium nib because medium is usually my go-to, and this feels very different than the Pilot. I don't know whether I've been hearing everywhere that the Sailor pens have like the special feedback to them. I wonder whether they wanted to try and do the same here. So there's definitely more feedback with this pen, but it's not unpleasant. So yeah, Jinhao 82. And because I was looking at Jinhao 82, there was one colorway that I couldn't stop thinking about, because this is very plain. I mean, it's a lovely color, but it's very plain. So I thought the Sailors are sort of famous for their more like the dreamy purple, pinks, blues. So yeah. So actually, I got this as well. And it's also in preparation for the March theme. This is the colorway Dried Hydrangea Rose. And it has some very subtle sparkles. The cap is sort of more greenish. The body is more bluish. And then you have the dark blue, also sparkly grip section and the finial. And something about this colorway spoke to me. And I think it's sort of their take or their imitation of the Dried Flower series, apparently. But yeah, I thought, okay. Because the milk tea on its own, I needed to add a bit more to the order. So I actually broke my rule and ordered 2 pens that are exactly the same, but for the colorway. Yeah, it was to be expected at some point. But I have actually not dip tested this one yet, because again, I want to keep it for the March theme. So it's also a medium. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing if that has the same lots of feedback. Oh. It feels, I think it's because I didn't flush the nib, as if there's still a bit of coating on there that I need to get rid of. But I think it's not quite as scratchy, not scratchy, but the milk tea nib is a bit more feedbacky, let's say. So it's going to be interesting to write with this for a while. I always think it's, you need to write a few pages anyway before you can really decide on a pen, especially if it's new, and then you it still needs to adjust to your hand. So all in all, I'm quite, there's a bit of theme here. So blues and browns. I think before I really went for the green pens, and then I realized, actually my favorite inks are sort of green and brown. I need a few more brown pens just to, it doesn't need to match exactly, but just to, like, for the vibe. I think purple is something I need to sort of, that I might look at next. But yeah, this is my little new, like my 4 new additions to my collection. I think they're quite stunning. And so far, I mean, it still needs to be a bit more of play with them, but I'm definitely impressed with the pilot nibs. Like, everyone said, yes, they're amazing, and totally, I can see why the hype is what it is. And I'm really glad that I got them now where they're still available. I think for now I'm definitely good on Pilot Kakunos. I also am good on the Jinhao 82s because, as I said, I think the model is actually a bit too short for me. But they're still very pretty, and I'm looking forward to really getting to grips with this one and the blue Pilot during my March theme. Yeah, I'm doing like a fair bit of planning for that at the moment. But for now, it's still February. So the 2 that I inked up to test them are basically like extras for the month. But I also already wrote a couple dry, so that's not too bad. Thank you so much for being here and for following me along in my ink and pen adventures. I'm writing my manuscript with pen and ink. So yeah, I need to have pens that are primarily good writers. I don't really care so much about the prestige that is attached to them. So the pilots, I think, fit this really well. They should, if they continue to be as nice of a writer as they appear now, I think they should make it onto the favorite list for this year. Thank you so much, and see you soon.